Hey everyone, Chris here. I actually spoke with Dr. Perry earlier today and was able to get some clarification and updates on the skills demonstration evaluating your efforts assignments. I'm recording this right now. I know I posted the time kind of last minute. Apologies about that. It's been a weird kind of week, and I know it's only Monday, so appreciate your patience with me and understanding. Um, I'm planning on talking through the different points of this assignment, and the different ways that you can engage with the material. Um, as always, you know where to get a hold of me if you have any questions, concerns, comments, thoughts. So don't hesitate to do that. I know y'all just turned in your recorded sessions. There are still about 5 of you as I'm recording this Monday, November 17th. At around, let's see here, 1 p.m. your time, 3 p.m. my time. There are about 5 of you in the class who still have not turned in the skills demonstration, which is just your self-evaluation as you go through your video. Um, so yeah, please get those to me if you get a minute. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. But let me go ahead and share my screen and we can get started. So I'm going to make this go away. And here we go here. Cool. So if we go to the assignments page, your, I'm going to show by type. Here we go. So you've already theoretically turned this in, the skills demonstration recorded session. The paper that is due December 8th, it could be a paper, like a video, or if you want to do like a presentation, if that's more your style, I'm down for that as well. This is the skills demonstration evaluating your efforts. So you can submit your text entry in a box or via file upload. Essentially, we were recently as a program reevaluated by CSWE, which is the organization that like gives schools the thumbs up or thumbs down for being MSW or BSSW accredited. And we have to make sure as a program that y'all are hitting all of the competencies necessary in order to graduate and, you know, have all the basic skills and tools that you need to go out and be successful in the field. So, earlier in the semester, you did the skills demonstration recorded session. The goal of this paper or presentation or video is to demonstrate your developing ability to conduct an interview session with a client. Again, you're working with your practice partner, and you recorded the session. To evaluate the session and your empathy, reflection, and interpersonal skills, we're going to have you engage in a 4-step evaluation process. So don't freak out when you hear 4 steps. Like I said, I know this is a bit longer than I had initially mentioned to y'all, just because Dr. Perry dropped in and updated this. So this is the most current and accurate explanation and breakdown of this assignment. So evaluation process 1, it's literally what you turned in for the process recording just now. So the recording itself and the skills demonstration, like the skills assessment checklist that you did to evaluate yourself. Literally, you did this piece already, right? You included the dialogue and the internal responses that you had. That was why we had you put your like the specific wording that you used in session, and then kind of your thought process behind it. Again, not as like a judgment thing, but as a trying to understand, you know, your perspective in trying to go down one path or another. And this is optional. I do recommend, I'm going to try to get this out to y'all by next week, your recorded sessions. I'm still kind of figuring out a way to go through and get you feedback for them, as well as just the grade, because I want to give you some good feedback that might be practical and useful. And so you're not required to go back in and comment again or update comments or anything. Other than what you already turned in. But I do recommend maybe going in there and, maybe even responding to my feedback once I get this turned back to you. Okay. Um, let's see here. So second process is actually coming up in week 14. Uh, so we also want to demonstrate that you can critically select tools and measures aligned with the client's culture, identity, intersectionality, beliefs, values, and support needs. So we're going to have you do a weekly activity with your practice partner where you are going to pick a client rated outcome. You literally just give it to your practice partner and then have them turn it back in. So you're going to, once you receive that back, you're going to upload your completed tool or measure to Canvas. And then there's going to be like a 1 to 2 page reflection that you'll include with that, which is detailed here. But let's go ahead and go to the client rated outcomes first, just to kind of tap in here. So this week's activity is client rated outcomes. You want to take a look at these outcome measures that evaluate the working relationship and select one for your practice partner to complete. So you want to either select the real relationship inventory. So this is the validity and then the actual document, the working alliance inventory. Again, that's the validity and the PDF. Or you can search for another one. Send it to them and ask them to complete it. Or if you're doing this virtually, you can even complete it with them over like Zoom, what have you. That way you have your handwritten one or your recorded one where you've like typed it up as they're going. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions about this. I know this adds a piece to the puzzle, but this is the information behind the thinking of it, like the research behind it. And then this is the document itself. So you're gonna go ahead and this is like that feedback that we were talking about with clients, right? So there's like the evaluation process and the termination process, which I think is actually this week. That I already recorded for you with the lecture. This is just giving them the option to provide that feedback, evaluating your efforts. Literally, it's the name of the paper. Cool. So your 1 to 2 page response or PowerPoint presentation that you record yourself doing or video that you record yourself reviewing, you're going to do a reflection process for the tools and measures, which is what led you to select this tool or measure and why was this tool or measure the most useful? This Again, this is kind of like the recorded session in that there's like a lot of pieces, but they're actually quite simple. I'm not looking for you to have X number of sources and cite them and all the things. Like, this is literally a reflection on your experience of this class and just how we're putting it all together, right? So part of what we do in the field, if you're doing clinical social work, if you're going into therapy or working with families or groups, you're going to need to eventually incorporate tools and measures. It's one of those things. So being able to reflect on why you chose it and the purpose behind it and the thinking behind implementing it is a really useful skill to have. Evaluation process 3. So before you write this section, you're going to be doing your peer group feedback session. The purpose of this part is to assertively and compassionately give feedback, like critical feedback to your peers, and humbly and openly accept feedback from peers. This is about 2 to 3 pages. All of these sections can be like lumped together in one paper. If you're doing the paper, one presentation, if you want to do like a PowerPoint that you record yourself presenting, or like a video. If you do choose to do the PowerPoint or the video, please make sure that you have your thoughts arranged in some sort of outline, so that you're not kind of just going off the cuff and rambling about this stuff, but really actually sitting and thinking about it. I just want to make sure that like this isn't like, okay, I'm sitting down to do this now, and 20 minutes later, we're still kind of talking on stuff, if that makes sense. Anywho, so again, we've talked about the recorded session. Everyone watches each other's recorded sessions and participates in this conversation back and forth, giving and receiving critical feedback in a compassionate way. The actual portion of this that you're going to be reflecting on is these 5 questions here. So, what was it like for you to share your recorded session with others? That could include me too, not even just your peers, but also me. What was it like for you to receive feedback on your clinical skills? Again, from me and from your peers. What feedback will you integrate into your practice, and what is your plan to do so? What was it like to watch your peers' recorded sessions? And what was it like for you to give feedback on their clinical skills? So this is like 2 to 3 pages. If you're doing a written paper, we can kind of get more into specifics if you're doing like a recorded video or like a PowerPoint. Just keep in touch with me. We can kind of break down what that looks like and the time frame that we're looking for. Let's see here. And then finally, evaluation process 4 is critical reflection of yourself and the evaluation process. So you want to reflect on how you showed up in the session. This is again another 2 to 3 page paper that these can be like sections of the same paper. I know the way it's written, it kind of feels like they're separate papers, but I don't want you to feel like you have to write 4 papers and submit them all like that separately. This is really where the meat and potatoes is here. So there are 2 portions of this evaluation process: the critical self-reflection. So questions 1 through 5 here under critical self-reflection are: how did your culture, identity, and intersectionality reflect the clients or not? Again, this is like your self-reflection a little bit deeper about the recorded session itself. Think about values, enjoyments, beliefs, family habits, relationships. How do you see the world? How do they see the world? How do your worldviews overlap and not overlap? What did you do to remain compassionate and empathetic when your worldviews didn't overlap? Specifically describe how you engaged in culturally responsive care during the recorded session. And honestly, this could be stuff that didn't come up during the session, but even over the semester as you've gotten to know your practice partner, whatever you feel is important to address these questions and really like how you developed your way of approaching this work and the session, and thinking about your own thinking, if that makes sense. If you were to have a redo of this session, what might you do differently to address culture? How did you know, or what led you to think you could do something different? Specifically describe how you practiced self-regulation, self-compassion, and self and community care before, during, and after the session. Again, this can, if there's nothing that's coming to you immediately from the recorded session and the time leading up to that, you can always draw on your experience this semester as well. Please do what you need to do in order to answer these questions in a way that feels satisfying to you, but also kind of, embodies the prompt, if that makes sense. Specifically describe, oh yeah, nope, we already did that one, sorry. And then, so the second part of, I don't know, you would call the critical self-reflection, blah, 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 4A, maybe. 4B is the process. In what ways did the evaluation processes address the client's culture, identity, and intersectionality? In what ways did the evaluation processes address the client's support needs, strengths, values, and goals? What will you take away from this project? So again, if you need to kind of zoom out a little bit and less focus in on the session itself, you can definitely draw from examples throughout this semester, maybe not even in this class, but how things from other classes applied here and vice versa. However it makes sense to you, even if it's like drawing from another like instance that came up, please feel free to do that. So this is your this is your checklist here. What you're going to want to upload to Canvas is evaluation processes 1 through 4. Again, that can all be in one Word doc. So the reflections are what you're going to want to include, and then the completed tool or measure from your practice partner. Okay. If you have the ability, like if you didn't use your practice partner for your recorded session, if you have the ability of reaching out to the other individual who completed the recorded session with you, great. If not, you can utilize maybe your practice partner from the semester. If you end up having any other difficulties, let me know, or any questions or concerns about this. But essentially, you've got total, it's about, like, if you're doing the paper, it's about 5 to 8 pages total for the evaluation processes 2 through 4. So the process recording you've already done, that's the skills demonstration checklist that you wrote, that you've already turned in. I'm going to be giving you feedback. Your peers are going to give you feedback. So you incorporate that. And if you want to add anything to it, you can. But then it's really evaluation process 2 through 4, where we're getting that 5 to 8 pages total for your critical reflection. And if you need to write the questions out as kind of the headers or subheaders for each of these, like I might put it as like, you know, skills demonstration evaluating your efforts is the title page. And then your main heading is evaluation process 2, tools and measures. And then you could have a subheading of like, the first question, what led you to select this tool or measure? And then you go ahead and type that out. And then your next subheading is like, why is this tool or measure the most useful? And then your next heading could be evaluation process 3, peer group feedback session. And again, you can also include me in this as well once I get that feedback to you, okay? So you got that. One of the things that you are going to be seeing as well, we've actually just got some training on this. As we are accredited through CSWE, they ask us to assess how well students are developing on the core competencies of the profession. So you'll notice that your assignment is going to be assessed in 2 ways. You're going to get your course grade, but then you're also going to get a program assessment. The program assessment does not affect your grade. This is a separate evaluation that is attached to the final assignment just because it makes the most sense to do it then. It just helps us understand how our program is doing and where we can grow. Both sets of scores are going to be visible in Canvas. While they happen at the same time, they serve different purposes. Again, they don't feed into each other. For CSWE competency scoring, a 3 is typically the expected benchmark for students at this stage. And actually that means like by the end of this program, if you, like when I was going through this training this past week, they were basically saying that like, 0 to 5, right? We think that we want to aim for the 5, right? Y'all are still learning. I would probably put myself as a 3 on this scale because I'm like, what, 3 years out of school. I would put myself maybe at a 3 or a 4 because I've been able to actually really have some of these skills sink in. I would say, somebody who's like 5 to 10 years in, who has a lot of experience, not just in one population or environment, they might be at a 5, right? I'm hoping to get there myself, but I'm just saying, most folks in this course will probably score a 1 or a 2, and that is normal because we expect you to have some competency in this, but not as much as you would if you were already graduating and going out into the field. Like, we want you to be at that midpoint because I know the achiever thing is like big with all of us, right? I mean, we're social workers. We want to demonstrate our capabilities and that we're good at what we do. This is not about that. This is about where you're at in the program as relates to the CSWE aligned criteria. And that is more about assessing our program, like us as a program. It's giving a number on a scale of how effective what is it? Not criteria, the curriculum. There we go. How effective the curriculum was in getting you into that 1 or 2 point level so that as you go into your next year, or the next couple of years, for those of you who are part-time, you still have room to grow into that around 3. 3 is where we want you to be when you're graduating. Some of you might get 3s, some of you might get 0s. It's not about y'all, it is about the program. I don't think anybody's in here, actually I should frame that. I don't think anybody in here is going to get a 0 because I've seen you all working through all of this. This is just an added layer that you're going to see and will likely have questions about. This is what I'm going to go off of in order to rate the program, essentially, like you in relation to the program, what you were able to accomplish in class, so that if they do need to fix or rearrange or, modify some stuff in order to get you either further up, or maybe we covered too much and we've got too many people at 3s, we can slow it down a bit and make sure people feel like they've got the time and space to really kind of grow in the program and in their expertise. If you have questions about that, let me know. Yeah, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm sure there are other people in the program who can talk to you about this too, but you're probably hearing this in all of your classes, not just mine, because we're all required to do this to kind of streamline it and make it easier, but also be transparent about how the program's doing, you know? So, I think that's everything. Again, there are 4 parts to this assignment: the process recording, tools and measures, which, we're doing in class this week 14. The peer group feedback session, you need to have your peer group feedback sessions before getting to this point. But you write that piece, and then the critical reflection of yourself, and the evaluation process. So thinking about your thinking, essentially, and how everything kind of has tied into each other. Like, we try to scaffold the assignments and also what we're teaching you so that it builds on what you just learned. And hopefully you can look back and be like, oh, wow, I'm at the top of Mount Everest, or, maybe halfway there right now. Cool. Well, let me know if you have any questions. I'm here for you, like, for real. I know life is weird. We're not getting a break until next week. You can work on this during then. If you have any questions, obviously reach out to me. You can email me, text me, call me. I'm checking those kind of every day. I'm checking my email every day, even over the weekend, just to make sure that everybody's kind of on the same page or no emergencies have come up. I'm trying to think what else. I think that's it for now. Y'all are doing great. Please keep up the good work. Again, a reminder, if you haven't turned in your skills demonstration self checklist for reviewing your own performance, or I don't want to say performance, but like your own like evaluation of your recorded session, please turn that in ASAP so I can get that feedback out to you, and also get those graded so that y'all have some feedback from me to consider. You also want to set up your peer review sessions if you have not set those up yet. Watch those videos, give that good critical feedback, and then you can dive right into the evaluating your efforts. Okay? Y'all got this. I got this. We got this. Do I sound convincing? No, but we really do. I hope y'all are taking good care of yourselves this week. And yeah, I'm around if you need anything or if you have any questions. If you prefer not to do the paper, that's totally fine. please let me know if you're planning on doing something other than a written paper. And that way you and I can kind of collaborate and coordinate on what that's going to look like. I would prefer you do something that feels authentic and good for you. But we just need to make sure we hit all the marks for the evaluating the efforts thing. Okay. All righty. Thanks so much. I'm sure we'll be in touch.